What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. And I know I say it every week, but if such a thing exists, happy Monday. Hopefully, you had a good weekend. You didn't have too much chaos thrown on you, which I sadly had a lot of it, but it's all pretty much been worked out. And it was a big weekend for racing. Sorry I was so late with all the bonus episodes, but they go further into depth to everything. This is a big debrief on a lot of stuff over just, particularly breaking down every event like I normally do. Hopefully, you checked out the bonus episodes, and because I like doing them just because it gives them their own time and I could break it down more thoroughly without worrying about going really, really long, going, no one's going to listen to me for that long because I fully understand. I think it's better that way. The only question left is why haven't you checked them out? Did five of them, put them all up? Did more than five, but I put five of them up last night just because I was so far behind after Saturday. But really good. Find them, listen to them, watch them, share them out. It's all appreciated. But like I said, big weekend of racing. Had a little bit of everything for everyone, regardless of what racing you like watching. And, whether it's motorcycle racing, dirt racing, street racing, road racing, NASCAR, I mean, you got it all. And regardless of feelings towards any of those, make sure to go on Peacock, check out the Supercross Daytona race, because once again, Ricky Carmichael gave us a phenomenal track and they knocked it out of the park. And it was a hell of a good night of actual racing across the board. It wasn't anyone just running away from anything, really. Really good racing. So please make sure to check that out. I say it every week as well. Make sure you watch that one because it was really good. But we got to learn some things, and got to see some things. And that is what this show is going to be about. What we learned, what we didn't get to learn, what we expected to happen, that happened. And what surprised me, because I know I'm not the only one on some of these things that got to, that got, I guess is the phrase, and was surprised by some of these things. And I'm not complaining. I like, being surprised and not seeing everything coming, even though some of it was dumb. But got to start out with Chase Elliott, or I did a bonus one, went further into depth. But, more days into it, I could say I didn't see it coming, but I still see both sides of the argument that are being made, because a bunch of them, Kevin Harvick included, agreed that they need something besides racing to do so they don't lose their minds, because it's such a long season. You're just go, go, go for 38 weekends, including the All-Star race and everything, in Los Angeles. Like, that's a long, long season. So I get it. And, I'm not a fan of, things like that being the day before you're supposed to be at the track. And I'm not going to say that the teams had to scramble because of it, but I'm pretty sure they had to scramble because of it and get the extra work and, get Josh Berry fitted in the car and get him, figured out and everything to be in there, because everything was planned out for Chase Elliott. And, he had to have his own, seat and everything to be comfortable. And I think that added an extra level, just unnecessary stuff. And they go, what up if you did it earlier in the week? I mean, at least they would have known, but I just don't like the last minute thing. And there's a lot of pieces, also with sponsors and all that as well, but I'm not saying don't have a release, because all kinds of people, race car drivers like to do all kinds of other things in their time off, to get the release and to do other things besides just race around the clock. Because a lot of them, it is very taxing on you mentally to deal with all of it. I'm just not a fan of the timing of everything. And, then everything they had to scramble to get Josh Berry ready, the sponsors, other rides he has lined up and sponsors signed on for those teams just because he was going to be in it, like in the cards down the line. So I'm in the middle of all of that. You can tell me, your thoughts on it, but I just, that's, you need to do it, but I'm not sure that's necessarily, the appropriate thing, just because anything can happen. And like I said the other day on the bonus episode, Murphy's Law. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And it bit him this time. So hopefully it's a speedy recovery, 3-hour surgery, put everything back together. We'll see what it looks like. Walter thinks he's done. I think, if he makes it back by August, September, I mean, he still has a few races there to try. And then if he doesn't win, he can go away. And, let someone finish it out and, finish recovering properly and get more time to recovery and get that leg strong again. We'll see. Again, we don't know exact timelines of it. I know how quickly I recover from getting run over with all kinds of things broken. So anything's possible, but we'll see. Time will tell. I just don't like it being the day before in a mad dash. That's just my only thing. And you had to figure out digital dashes, a whole different thing, which, just threw crazy elements that I wasn't a big fan of. But moving on, Supercross Daytona. Say I wasn't surprised that Eli Tomac and Hunter Lawrence won. I think I called both of those actually. That didn't surprise me. Eli and Daytona. Eli gets Daytona, and the history and the aura and just everything that place means. He gets it, and that's why him winning all these is super special. And probably why he does win. All time winner there. Now Supercross by a decent chunk. It's because he gets it, and I think that helps with all that. The Dylan Ferrandis wreck on media day was scary as hell. I'm glad he took the time off and didn't race, regardless of who made the call, whether it's the team, him, anyone. I'm glad that he wasn't out there because that was a crazy wreck. Did not look like it felt good by any stretch of the imagination. Looked kind of wicked, actually. If you didn't see it, I shared it up on the Twitter page at Racing Rosinski. It's down underneath all the bonus episodes, but yeah, that was a scary wreck. So glad he was, okay as far as they've said anything, but that wreck was nuts and he needed to take the time off. So that was good. Nate Thrasher having so many issues in the 250s, I honestly didn't expect, just because, he's been running good and he's made, hasn't made big mistakes like that in a while. He got the win last week, he's just looking better, and to see him go down, not once, but twice, I honestly didn't see that, but everyone has their weekend. Again, it was in sand, there's all kinds of different stuff going on there and yes, they have sand on other tracks, but Ricky puts all this together, and he shot it around the outside. It just Hunter was coming doing just inside him, damn near the same line. He was already sideways and looked like he was going down, leaning before Hunter got there, but didn't expect to see that. So we got to see how he bounces back from that, because I know that's got to be on his head. Chase Sexton being consistently inconsistent again, that doesn't surprise me. I do say it's amazing that he's still third in the points with how consistently inconsistent he is, because he seems to have a problem every single race, but there he still is in the top three. That's really, testament to him, I suppose, just to see that, because every watch the races, every single race, there's something. And it's amazing. But him running Justin Barcia off the track and then dumping him when he got back to him, that was ridiculous. And I'm really curious to see what happens between them going forward, just because, let's say Malcolm Stewart and Jason Anderson last year, like they just kept being near each other and kept running into each other. And the issue finally went away, but I want to know how Barcia's going to, because I'd be pissed. I would have threw my arm in the air too in rage, because he straight up just dumped him after he ran him off the track. And I'd be mad. So I'm curious, again, if they get near each other, is it going to be like last year? Or are they going to keep just running into each other and running amok? I hope not, but, fool me once, shame on, me, fool me twice. Shame on you, and he ran him over twice, so I don't think that's going to end well. Hayden Deegan, again, this one didn't surprise me. Kid's fantastic. He's a real deal, super talented, and just think he's only 17. Got the podium at Daytona, and he's only 17. That means he can only keep getting better, which is kind of a scary thought. It's kind of like, Jet. I still think Jet's, more talented. No offense. He just seems to have more than his brother Hunter, and his other brother Hunter isn't too shabby either. So I really want to see how, Hayden keeps growing through all of this, because he's super fast and he only makes, you see him make a mistake. He hasn't done it again. I know they say it on broadcast and stuff, but, to see him clicking it off and learning and going back and, adjusting everything properly, that shows really a lot of talent at his age. And I'm really excited to see where, he goes in his career, because he's a freak of nature. Look who his dad is. Look at all of that. I still want to know why he has a Hayden and a Haley. Ryan, why he named his kids that, kind of like TJ and JJ Watt. Very similar. I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying, they're very close to each other. But excited to see where he can go and what Indy has to do first at Lucas Oil Stadium. Again, Saturday, it'll be a good race. And I like their swing here on the East Coast, because the races start a lot earlier. Granted, they start way earlier on the West Coast then, but, those 10 o'clock gate drops, just, they aren't no fun for us here on the East Coast. So let's stay over here for a while, shall we? Changing gears. IndyCar Firestone GP St. Petersburg, first race of the season. And it was a good one. The cast of characters up front really did surprise me. Was happy to see people like Roman Grosjean look so good after some struggles that he had last year. While making adjustments to the IndyCar series, different car. And, he did have a lot of bad luck and car failures and all kinds of weird stuff. So it was good to see him start out so strong until the ending, until it didn't end that way, which sucks. But, at least he looked good. That is a good sign. The veracity of the accidents that happened was something I didn't see coming. If you haven't looked them up, do so. Just the speed at that part of the track. I mean, one guy got hit and went up in the air and did a 180 and landed. Another guy launched over top of the competitor and slammed into the ground. And I'm just glad everyone walked away because big enough to do that. Those are some big hits. And, the worst we saw was Helio Castroneves. He got x-rays after his ice pack on his knee, but he was walking, and I'm sure he feels terrible right now, but he walked away, and that's a really good thing. And it was crazy just because there was one caution last year. So, I didn't see so much just stuff happening, but it did. Will Power totally dumped Colton Herta into the tires, and that wasn't a racing move. That was a wreck. He's better than that. Colton was right to be pissed, and he called it right. So, want to see where that goes in coming weeks too, because that was just an unnecessary move. I hate to see Grosjean's day in the way it did. He had a ton of bad luck last year, like I said, and just sucked to see him get wrecked while he was dominating the weekend. He definitely had the best car, and I understand, dude, pushing it on, cold tires coming out of the pits with Grosjean coming up on him, trying to get around him, but to drive it that hard into that turn and then drive him up into the tires, end his day, and then he got to continue with after only getting a pass through. That's I didn't like it. I didn't dig it. It was kind of grody. I mean, granted, if he got by him, the race was over because his car was just that good. But whether you're intentionally or ill-intentionally, you knew you were braking that late, and you caused him, his whole day to be over. So that really, really did suck. I just don't like when guys, make that move, because damn near 10 out of 10 times it ends the way that did, and it just sucks. But I will also say that I was surprised by those types of accidents. I know it was only race one, but they're better than this. When I say those incidents, I mean so many stupid incidents, and hopefully it gets cleaned up, because I didn't enjoy seeing that many dumb moves causing so much stupid. The cars going in the air is one thing. That was just the angles people hit each other where they were on the track. There are things like that that happen where you just can't, do anything about it. But again, Will Power, Scott McLaughlin, like there was a lot of people who just did really dumb stuff, and I hope that gets fixed up. Hopefully, Andretti Autosport luck turns around, because that was a super rough race for them as a whole. So many cars out that were running so well. Bad start to them. McLaren and their teams looked better than they did in Indy, than they did in F1 by a long shot. So see if they could figure anything out, or at least continue that, because F1's not looking good. And they didn't disappoint, but just, because the racing was good. It was just so much straight garbage from a few people that really dampened all of it. And again, like, what's going to happen. Many times you see someone go barreling into a corner, slam on the brakes, and bad things don't happen. At the last second, trying to hold someone back, like it's just, or to get by someone. Pretty much 10 out of 10 times it doesn't work out, and it works out exactly the way it did. So hopefully, that, gets fixed, because again, last year, first race of the season, one, caution. This time they had all of that happen. First race is an excuse. That was a lot of just straight stupid and hot garbage. So hopefully that gets fixed, because I don't like seeing that much stupid and that many cars wrecked just because of idiocy. Call me crazy. I know how much those things cost. So don't want to see that. F1 2023 Bahrain GP. Again, Max Verstappen dominated with the Oracle Red Bull team. Didn't surprise me. Shouldn't surprise anyone. Like I've said, I'm going to keep saying it's going to be a long season for anyone not named Max Verstappen. A very long season, as he was just in his own world, and it's going to suck. I think it's going to be like last year all over again. But now he already has a win after one race, and it's the biggest, most races in a season ever. So he's going to hit that record book one more time. There's not a damn thing anyone looks like they can do about it. So get ready, because it's the Max Verstappen show again. I wasn't surprised to see McLaren was off. Um, I didn't expect to see them that bad, but I always, said it wasn't Daniel Ricciardo's fault or problem. Now he's gone, and they've taken an even bigger step back. They've lost even more, so hopefully it works out with Lando and Oscar Piastri because Oscar's talented. He's just coming into a car that really looks like garbage. They're way off, so they're gonna have to make big improvements, and I don't know how they're gonna be able to do it because they're way off, way. Great to see Aston Martin's picked up so much since the end of last season, both Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. Even with his wrist, it's great to see them get points. Great to see Fernando on a podium. Told everyone I like that combination. Like losing Sebastian Vettel sucks, but when you can fill in that gap with another champion like Fernando Alonso, that's phenomenal. Look how good he ran. I think that's going to keep happening. And seeing Williams get a 10th and a 12th was a good, unexpected thing. I honestly didn't think we'd see them get points, or both of them damn near get points, in race one, just because of how far back they were last year. Like they were really off. So that was really, really exciting. Hopefully it continues and they get more points through the year. Again, things didn't happen to Charles, Leclerc and stuff, but he still got him. And if he didn't get him, that would have been 11th and 13th. And that is still fantastic for some of the races that they ran last year. So that was good to see. And I know Mercedes will pick it up like they did last year. Just can't believe that they're that off. And I think I saw Toto Wolff say something that he agreed. So hopefully they figure that. But biggest season race-wise in F1. So I'm really excited for it. I just don't see too many people not named Max Verstappen getting the win. And I'm sorry. I'm not, sorry. Not sorry. He's just too good. And they got even faster. It's like, hey, we made all these gains. Yeah, so did they. And that's got to be demoralizing, but it's great racing behind them. With Aston Martin knowing they're the Ferraris, we know that the Mercedes will keep getting better. So I think it'll be a solid, it could be a very solid 3-4, 4-team, battle for second on back, which is something that we really, really needed. So very excited to see that. Last year was just, the Red Bull, it was Max Verstappen and then Sergio Perez and the Ferraris really battling out for second through fourth because of where Mercedes started. So hopefully it's good, but if you're not named Max, too bad. Make sure you check him out. Really good races behind Max because he's in a whole new world. And finally, you get to the NASCAR, races, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We had the Craftsman Truck Series, Victoria's Voice Foundation 200, the Xfinity Series Alsco Uniforms 300, and the Cup Series Pennzoil 400. I feel the best racing that we might have got was Friday, with the trucks. And again, there might have been, more cautions or whatnot, but it just, you saw more raciness, across a lot of it and people coming and going. I mean, once Kyle got up front, he was just checked out, but you saw more racingness there. There were people that made moves in the Xfinity and the Cup Series, but they just leveled out at some point. Like they kept going, then they plateaued and they just, stayed there. So I just felt people made more moves and didn't just get to a point and stop more on Friday night in the Truck Series race. And Kyle Busch looked damn good. So good for him getting that win with Chevy. There were movers, like I said, in all of them, but again, evening out, and then just single file a lot of it, it just wasn't good. And I hope it's an outlier because I was disappointed in the first mile and a half race of the season. I know people that were there that were texting me going, man, this race sucks. They're not even ones that look for wrecks. It was just a lot of single file after a while. And, it's like, hey, it has grooves. Yeah, but at a certain point with the aero package and all that, the racing does go away. And that makes it hard to watch. So hopefully it's an outlier. We shall see. Did see the Toyotas finally run good collectively in the Cup Series. And that's good for how it looked for a few weeks there at the beginning. And scary thought, no matter how much I talk about trash about Toyota and a lot of them, I want to see them all do good because how good would it be to see all three manufacturers and they're scrapping for every single race? Like that would be a good, change of pace and something really good for the sport, even though I feel that the loss of Kyle Busch was a big one for Toyota. I'll always feel that way. And we saw Ty ran, even Reddick was trying to knock the wall down. He still finished better than, Ty Gibbs. And he'll have time to get better, but we'll see how it all goes. Again, he ran races last year, so it's not like he's not used to the car. So I don't know. I don't know, but it was good to see that many of them up there again. 7 in the top 15 after the way the season started. That's fantastic for them. So good on that. Ford disappointing in the Xfinity and Cup Series. Only 1 of the top 10 in the Xfinity and 2 in the Cup Series. And they normally run better there, at least in my thoughts and minds. They always run better there. So I was kind of surprised to see them do so poorly, but we'll see because they look good the other parts of the year. So, just got to see how that works out for them. But I expected more than three of them between the top 10 in the Xfinity and Cup Series. I'd not expect to see three in those 20 spots. That one really weirded me out. And Corey LaJoy once again outran his teammate Ty Dillon like everyone does, and yet he has a full-time ride all these times. So let's say thanks to Mike Dillon, their dad, and Richard Childress for continuing to get that kid a ride, even though he's done nothing to actually earn it. There's people that have ran better that have lost the rides, way better, and lost the rides compared to him just continually getting one. And I hate that shit. I really honestly do. There you go. First time I cussed. The whole episode, it's not getting explicit on it. I don't give a damn. But good job for Corey LaJoy, too. All top 20 so far this season. That's really, really good for a young little team that could, especially after his run in California. I'd like to see them keep doing good. So hopefully that works out. But we have a good weekend coming up. I don't know how many I'm going to do. Planning a trip. So don't know how many I'm going to get out there right away. The show's probably going to be late next week. Not on Monday, but you got the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, ARCAs in Phoenix, which should be good. Supercross, Indy, whatever else comes our way or comes across my DVR through the weekend, I'll have a better one. By the time I release the one for Friday, I'm excited to see, Phoenix after what I thought was kind of, two boring weekends between, California and Vegas because, it's great. It has a lot of grooves for the first couple laps. And then while some people keep passing people, most of it's just single file, and that's not exciting racing to me. And you'll never change my mind. I know. Call me whatever you will. But follow the leader for most of the thing. And, look at Byron. He got the lead and he was just gone. That was it on the green, white checker overtime, whatever they call it now. Like he got the lead and gone. And, who really, hey, it brings excitement. Yeah, all it did was wreck a few more cars down the back straightaway. In my head, it was nice to see them let them finish it, even though, they all have to come driving back there even quicker than they'd get throughout Daytona. But, we'll keep that, quiet, like the whole mile and a half around, compared to 3 quarters of a mile. But they never let them run it back. But, that's just my debrief on all of it. Some things I already went over all the results more in depth for all the races. If you want to find that out, find them. They're all out, but I thank you. I appreciate all of you. Don't forget YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, all of them, Rumble. I appreciate it. Don't forget you can do Anchor support. If you click on that link to listen to it, the support that button is on there. I appreciate all of you. Don't forget to share the hell out of this. And until we meet again, check out the bonus episodes and peace. Bye. I'm out.